So the other night at work, Wednesday night last week to be exact, I got a surprise visit from our son. He was doing another check ride flight and he decided to pick Lexington as a destination. And so he surprised me at work. He sent me a text which led me out to the parking lot. The next thing I know, he's driving up and he brought me this care package. For starters, these are the clamps that go with this table right here. He found them finally. There's two of these with rubber bumpers on them. And there's also table stops that go in the channels too, and you can use them to as a stop for your wood or whatever you happen to be working on. And I've got space here in the drawer to put these tools. Alright, so the Craig table, everything is back to where it should be. The coolest thing that he brought me is a Lee Nielsen tool, a spoke shave made in the USA by Lee Nielsen in Maine. He and his family were on vacation up there last month, and he actually went to the factory and purchased this spoke shave for me, along with a baseball cap and a t-shirt. That was great. Very surprised by that and very appreciative. That's one of the items that I do not have and was thinking about trying maybe to find one in an antique store, and just hadn't come across one yet. Ooh, a nice hollow ground razor edge on that. Very, very nice. Very nice. It's a Lee Nielsen Toolworks Bog Spoke Shave in Warren, Maine. That's where my son went and actually picked it up from the factory. It's a hefty little rascal and not cheap. I don't know how much it was, but I'm sure it wasn't cheap. So I'm going to go over here and see if I can get a piece of wood, and we'll see if we can clamp it to this table right here and see if this spoke shave exactly what it is capable of. Well, as you can see, I got this piece of wood clamped down onto the table. This is pretty slick. This system has these screws in here that are distanced in such a way as they fit down in this channel and slide back and forth. And then you adjust depending on the thickness of your wood, you adjust the stop here. Put your wood underneath the rubber pad and clamp down, and there it is. And the spoke shave, after reading the instructions here and how it should work, it says to lay it flat on a piece of wood, loosen your thumb screws, let the blade come to rest evenly on the wood, tighten the thumb screws, and it'll give you about a 8 thousandths to 10 thousandths of the edge right there. And I have to say that it does a very nice job. If you want to put a chamfer on here, or like if you were making an axe handle and you wanted to round it over to where you got a good grip, this is the tool you'd use. And I'm sure you can use a spoke shave for any number of things. It's kind of like whittling. You just come out here and start scraping on a piece of wood and work off a little stress, which is what I needed to do tonight. It was a fun day at work. Now this is a guess on my part. I feel like if I'm working this chamfer, and instead of just centering on one place of the blade, if I take and start here, and as I pull towards me, kind of bring the tool across, and I get to use the whole blade rather than dulling one specific point of the blade. Clean it out every now and then. I will have to say that that's extremely fun and relaxing, even though I'm not doing anything. It's probably what I need to start doing, is just coming out here every night, grab a tool and start playing with it, just to see, really get a feel for the tool and learn how to use it. Learn what I can and cannot do with it specifically. And at some point, get good enough with the tools to where I can actually make something with them. Now this is a piece of wood I'm working with here is seasoned oak. It's an old piece of oak. Let's see what the chamfer looks like there. Probably kind of rough, since that was my first attempt at using it. The chamfer that's on the other side of this was machine ground. And there's a story behind this oak. When we first moved into this house, we had this big oak mantel above the fireplace, and it was just a flat, you know, your basic flat shelf. And the masons had put brick supports on either side of it, and it's basically sat on the brick supports, and a big screw went up through the last brick and into it to hold it in place. Well, when Dad built us a mantle surround, which is solid cherry, we took that mantle shelf off, and I stored it out here in the garage for a while. And I had this old wrought iron bench that had wood slats in it. Well, the wood slats had long since rotted, and I decided I was going to take that big oak mantelpiece and cut it down into whatever pieces we could manage to get out of it to rebuild that wrought iron bench. And I managed to finally complete that project last weekend, because Mrs. C needed a bench at her workplace for her autumnal display of flowers and pumpkins and that sort of thing that you put out this time of year. So I dug these pieces out that I had stored over on the shelf against the wall there. And as I was pulling these pieces out, it occurred to me that cutting this down, rounding over these edges and cutting them to length and to size was the last project Dad and I worked together on. So it was pretty cool to be able to take those slats and finally assemble them into that bench. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, give it a thumbs up. We thank you for watching, and please tune in again.